Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit. My name is Sherna.
My name is Mikhail.
And together we are Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit. Now in today's episode, we're actually going to talk about the most important part, at least what we perceive as the most important part of our weight loss journey, and that is the actual diet portion.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into that, we really want to thank each and every one of y'all for finding this podcast and taking time out of your schedule to listen to our journey. As usual, we would love for y'all to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get all the live updates when we post our podcasts. You can check us out at Spotify and follow at Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit. Check out all of our social media accounts so that you'll be able to get the live updates of all of our workouts that we post, because we exercise 3 to 4 times a week and we'd love for you all to see that live.
Yeah.
So Mikhail, we're going to get straight into the episode now, and I want to ask you, what would you define a diet as?
A diet is essentially what you regularly eat and drink. So your regular eating habits. So what you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
All of that, right? Now, there's like a common misconception with that where people will say, hey, boy, you need to go on a diet.
To lose weight.
To lose weight.
Yeah.
But you are actually already on a diet. You shouldn't say to go on a diet. It's to change a diet just
Yeah.
a bit. But the reason why we say that diet is one of the most important things is because it's your fuel. It's what you put into your body. And that will actually affect how it is you move, how you operate, and how it is you even feel.
Yeah. And beyond that, I do think that a diet in terms of like weight loss makes up 80% of that journey.
Correct.
So you cannot be, eating as you would like. Like if it is that we were working out and then right after that workout, we go down to our favorite fast food joints to go get that 3-piece combo, that pizza from Pizza Hut, a large 12 slices right after the workout session we would have done, then essentially what I would do is null it void. It would basically serve no purpose because you're basically eating back the calories that we would have just burnt off.
Correct.
So I do think that while exercising is important, because one of my really good friends who's into fitness and stuff like that did explain to me that in terms of losing weight, you have to keep your body moving. You have to keep your body active. Now, I know that there are a lot of people who don't exercise and they lose weight still. Why? Because they changed their diet. They adjusted it and they updated it.
Correct.
But as we are doing our journey, we find it important to actually be more active so that our bodies will be able to, I guess, be more handy. We'll be able to hold up our body weight more as opposed to not being able to. We'll be able to go long distances without panting. So essentially what we are doing beyond changing our diet is we're training our body for, the hard times when you have to run long distances. If it is, we have to run a 5K. We've been running around the field so many times that we are accustomed to it. But we're not talking about that in this episode. What we are talking about is the importance of a diet. And we need to get into understanding the basics of a diet. Now, what I want to get into is my diet from the period of 2022 to 2023. We're going back in time now, right? That period was, again, a time in my life before I had met you, before I knew you existed, and before we were in a relationship. And during that portion of my life, I was going through a time where I felt like I was given the most difficult cards to be dealt with in life. My world was crashing and I was still in it. And I had to make a very important decision, which is, do I feel sad or do I feel sad and exercise and do something about it while I'm already there? And I chose to adjust my diet to exercise some more. But I did it in almost impractical way, because the diet that I followed at that time is not a diet I can follow now. Because from 2022 to 2023, I was not eating any flour. So I had not had flour for at least 8 to 9 months. I didn't have flour. I was barely eating sugar. I barely had salt. I remember going out with my friends.
So that's right.
Yeah. I remember going out with my friends for the graduation ceremony. And this was in July. And we went out to Ohana's in Shogunas, I think. And I ordered a salad. Yep, I had a salad and
That's crazy.
chicken. They had like burgers and mashed potatoes and like chicken. And I sat down there and said, I will have a salad.
You're strict with yourself.
I
right?
was very strict with myself because I truly was not eating any form of flour. And my diet at that time, I was losing weight really quickly. A lot of people commended me and said, whoa, Sherna, you're losing weight so quickly. What are you doing? When I explained to them this diet, they're like, how in the world are you staying motivated to do that? Because we are a country that we like our flour.
Yeah.
Everything that tastes good starts with
I
flour.
want doubles.
Yeah. So like when it is you go to the double stand, do you say I'll take a doubles without flour?
What's the matter?
Yeah, so
tryna.
that they will basically say what's some cucumbers then. And so everything like our Sunday lunch, what is it? It's like macaroni pie, Calorie, akra, like all the niceties of being a Trini. These things begin with F, which is flour. And I stayed far away from it. I stayed far away from sugar, so I was not having any juice. I was just drinking water. Like Blue Waters and we were basically the same person. We're just drinking water right through. I didn't have a partner at that time, so I didn't have to go out and date with anybody. And when I went out, it was to buy groceries. And those groceries was anything but flour.
Yeah.
And I think when I look back at that diet now, I knew that I lost the weight because I lost over 60 pounds. And right now, I am not able to do that same thing in this relationship because, again, when it is that we are trying to adjust our diet and be different, it is not in a impractical way. It's not in a extreme way. It's in a how can I improve and do better with myself so that I don't revert. You know, like how human beings tend to revert to their old ways, like a factory reset. When it is you eventually go back to that factory reset, which is what happened to me in 2024. I went back to my factory reset. I went from not eating doubles to eating 4 doubles. I went from not having fried foods to, I'll take a 3-piece combo at Royal Castle. Like my diet shifted completely from what it was once.
Body wanted it.
My body wanted it, and I no longer had the desire to be so strict. And then what happened? The pounds piled back on, and I did not even see it happening.
Yeah.
So again, diet is super, super important because while it is exercising is amazing, yes, in terms of my weight loss journey and why it worked for that time, but it cannot work right now in this period. And what I learned is that dieting is more of a mindset.
Yeah.
You have to have the discipline to say, okay, I'm not having a roti today. You know, roti is made out of flour, right?
Really?
Yes. I'm not having doubles today. I'm not like, once I had set my mind up and I said to myself, I am not eating any of these things, and I did not eat it, I was fine. I lost the weight. I did what I needed to do. But I think that when it is you are adjusting your diet, because we don't want to use the words going on a diet because we are already on a diet.
Really?
When it is we are on this diet, we want to ensure that this is something that we can maintain, because a lot of these diet plans that we see is usually lose weight in 6 weeks, lose weight in 8 weeks, lose the weight, do this for this amount of time, and then you'd be able to get this change result. But the thing is, you need to be able to have a diet that is sustainable, have a schedule that is practical. And so that is why I think that the most important thing you can do for yourself is update your diet.
Funny enough, I had a similar story. It was a period, the years of 2021 and 2022, where I wanted to lose weight.
Yeah.
Now, I realized that I needed to change my diet.
Yeah.
So I started changing it, and I started to eat less snacks. I started to incorporate like more vegetables, like watercress and celery. I love watercress.
I hate watercress.
I realize that things give a nice tangy kind of feel, right? But I love that. And I started to do something. I started to measure the dimensions of my body.
Okay.
Now, it's not a bad thing.
I did that
but,
too.
Yeah. Even though that's not a bad thing,
Right.
I kept looking at the numbers. And I was so fixated on the numbers, I was like, nah, boy. I only lose like about a pound or 2 this week, boy. Nah, boy. Let me see if I could lose like a pound like every 2 days or every day.
Yes.
Boy. And I started to be a lot more strict in my diet. Because I became very self-conscious of how I looked. And
Which I think is amazing, but go on.
yeah, but it was more body dysmorphia.
I understand.
Yeah. So I started doing that, and I took out a lot of my favorite foods, a lot of my favorite snacks.
Do you think that was a good idea?
I think that was a bad idea, actually. Because when I did that, I was happy with my size, but I didn't feel good. Because the type of diet that I had, it didn't have much, say, like carbs or anything that would make me feel nice every now and again. Because it's okay to like eat snacks every now and again,
Yeah.
but not on a consistent basis. But if it's like
And a large quantity.
exactly,
Yeah.
because when I cut it out, my energy was so low, and when I get like a taste it again, my body started to call for it again too. Yeah, I was like, nah, boy,
Yeah.
I missed out on this. I killed myself on this. I was like, nah, I can't be doing that. So I started eating it again, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start back doing that. I'm gonna start back doing that instead of before doing like a gradual change and then finding like a balance. There was no balance.
I think in the previous episodes as well, you would have spoken about like not cutting out everything immediately. Because like if it is that you are accustomed to eating, I don't know, doubles or something like that, and you know this is like a regular part of your routine, and you try to cut it out like 100%, or let's just say flour. If you try to cut out flour 100% and you know that you are a flour baby, like you love to cook with flour and stuff like that, you know, it may be more helpful as opposed to taking out flour completely, to just maybe eating less of it. So like if it is that you're making a macaroni pie and you want to not use flour, you could probably use rice macaroni as well, because like that's what I eat. The
Rice macaroni?
The rice-based macaroni. Yes, baby. Or if not that, you could have like a smaller portion of pie. And like I get the obsession with measuring yourself. Because there was a portion of my life, I remember this, because my mommy was taking out like roti skin, like butter skin, and this was around Diwali, right? Yeah. And she asked me, Sherna, do you want some? And I told her, are you crazy? I have not lost even 2 pounds this week. Mommy, my waist is still 50 inches and I'm not able to eat this unless it is my waist goes down to this amount. And I got so obsessed with the numbers, and it was not healthy at all. Yeah. Because I was no longer eating to lose weight for my diet. I was eating to be skinny. Yeah. I was eating because I wanted to have a certain number. And sometimes I think like that caused me to develop some form of body dysmorphia. Because I was 175, I was skinny, I had a bubble head, my head was huge, and my body was tiny, 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 because I was not losing the weight, you know, at a reasonable pace. Like I was losing it quick. The weight was just coming off in sets of 15, sets of 20, sets of 10s and stuff like that. And it was not sustainable for my body. So I was just looking like I had a bubble head, right? But in my head, I'm like, I have to be 160. I have to be 150. And at the cost of what?
Exactly.
At the cost of your health, at the cost of you, like, you know, starving your body and not giving your body what it needs. Because what I have learned in weight loss is that if it is that you don't give your body a break, it will give you one. And it is not good.
Nice.
It is not nice when your body decides, all right, I'm putting a halt on this. I'm putting a stop to this.
Actually, once your body just take a break and you want to move, your body says, nah, boy, what you feel this is? Now I want to put our 2 cents there.
Yeah.
I find with both of our stories.
Yeah. Same person.
Same person, yeah, same person.
Yeah.
I also find that we kind of treated ourselves as machines.
Yes.
We're not machines.
We
We're
are
flesh
not.
and blood. We're not a car. We're not a car where, you know, we could drive with a quarter tank and just go by a gas station. You know, that would affect you actually. Because your body has to break down that what you put it inside. It's fuel. You have to convert it for your body.
And also rest is really important as well.
Exactly. Because during that time of rest, your body actually recuperates, repairs itself, and it does its own thing. So if it is you don't let your body, you know, take that break, which is the rest,
it's
going to
take
the
one
rest
for you. Yeah. I remember someone actually telling me that if it is that you are like exercising hard and you're not sleeping, you're wasting your time, my friend.
Yeah, boy.
And you have to be able to give your body that rest that it needs in order to repair. I know that for a fact. And before we go on to the next section, I want to just give like a point of don't make exercising your whole personality.
Lovely.
I really want to stress that. Now, granted, I think we on social media, we make it our personality because we are trying to make an active effort too. But don't become so obsessed with the numbers that this is your whole personality now. If somebody says, hey, do you want a cookie? It's like, how much calories does that cookie have? Like, how much sugar does that cookie contain? Like, have a cookie. Don't be like, I have to exercise right after, or you're eating a cookie while doing jumping jacks to burn it. Don't make exercising your whole personality, and don't make, let's say, dieting to an extreme capacity your personality as well.
Unless you're like a professional and you have
Yeah.
to do like certain exercises and things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Don't be doing that. What you're going to be doing next day is commuting to work, come back home, and deal with your family. That's all you're going to be doing.
Yeah. And now I kind of want to transition into the role of diet in our journey. Now, before we get into that, I want to say that right now I'm on a calorie deficit. I know that there are like hundreds, maybe that's an exaggeration, but let's say hundreds of different kinds of diets that you can go on. I did, and I am currently doing the calorie deficit, which is literally the definition that we gave before, which is I am eating less and I'm
Yeah.
exercising more. That's what I'm doing. So my diet itself actually consists of 2 meals for the most part. So I would have breakfast in the morning, which is usually overnight oats soaked in almond milk with like my little things to make it more tolerable. And I also remember, again, I want to point out that you have to enjoy the diet that you're on, or else you're not going to lose the weight.
Correct.
Because I remember at first when I was doing my extreme diets, I was having overnight oats as well, soaked in water, and I hated the taste, but I still ate it. Now, because I'm not in that same mindset anymore. I was very numb to the flavor of food at that time. Right now, I could taste everything. And if it is I don't like it, I'm not going to eat it. I remember telling you that, I wanted to make the oats on the stove. I didn't want the overnight oats. I wanted to make the oats fresh in the morning. And I did not like how it tasted. And I did not eat breakfast at that point. So the role of diet in my journey was to figure out, how do I want to do this?
Yeah.
And how did I do this? I had my overnight oats in the morning. I had it with my 2 hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah.
And then for lunch, I had whatever meal I had meal prepped before.
Yeah.
And that was because that was my goal. My goal is to lose the weight, to eat a little bit less. This is not about eating 5 meals a day. I'm not saying that you can't. I am not a professional. That's just not what my body is capable of doing to lose the weight. So in between like the periods where I'm having breakfast and then lunch, eventually I will have breakfast in the morning. Then I would have a snack, and that snack is usually popcorn. The popcorn seeds I would pop on the stove. And then probably later in the afternoon, close to like later evening time, that is, I would have my lunch. So that would kind of be like dinner and lunch in one. And then for the rest of the day, I won't eat again. I'll probably have water. And if it is, I'm really, really hungry in the nighttime, I may have cucumber or I might have watermelon. That is what I would have. So I want to kind of throw it out to you. I would love to know if you have to change your diet to lose weight, because me personally, from this diet to date, I have lost 10 pounds. And I am so proud of myself, because I kind of had to not necessarily restrict myself, but probably put myself on an actual schedule, because I came from a point in my life where I was not even eating breakfast. I was just getting up, going with the wind, however I felt. If I had lunch, I would eat lunch, and my body was probably severely starved. And now my body is getting, to me, the nutrients that it needs, and at a timely manner. And I am now able to kind of lose weight. And I have seen this result in my body, because I've lost 10 pounds to date. And I know that it takes a while for the weight to show, right? I think they say in 1 month, you'll feel it, and in 2 months, you'll see it. So I'm now transitioning into the 2 months period. But yes, do you really think that you need to change your diet in order to lose weight? Or do you have to have like a specific kind of goal? Like what is your thoughts on it?
So you're asking, should we change our diet depending on our goals?
Yes.
Yes, you should actually. So there's 2 main ways in exercising,
Okay.
at least in the fitness world. So that is bulking and cutting. Now, I think I spoke about this a bit in a previous episode, but I could talk about it again. So essentially, bulking is where you want to put on more muscle, you put on more size.
Yeah.
Cutting is what we're doing. We want to lose weight, we want to shed it off. Now, when you're bulking out, you should eat more protein-based foods, eat more carbs, so you can have more energy. When you're
Okay.
cutting out, you should cut down on the amount of food that you're eating.
Yeah.
And but you should also drink a lot more water. For either of them, you should be drinking water, but specifically for cutting, because you're going to be sweating a lot.
Which we
You
do.
yes.
Yeah.
You'll be drenched in sweat.
After like a lot of the basketball workouts, and especially like after like, you know, the Russian twists, and especially after my jump rope, I am always like drenched in sweat. And I know you sweat a lot from basketball.
You look like a nice chocolate stick, though. Oh,
Yeah.
So, but our journey now,
Yeah.
since we are cutting, we should be drinking a lot of water,
That is
because
true.
that also helps us with your sweat. Because once you're sweating a lot and you're sweating on nothing, you won't be able to regulate your body temperature
Okay.
properly. And also, drinking water also kind of helps you, flush your system.
I
out a
would say
bit.
that too, because I
Yeah.
do believe that like the first 5 pounds you lose is actually like water weight.
It is.
So like I don't think you can lose weight if you hate water. If it is that you want to go back to the source, what does my body need the most? I think the human body is like what, 70% water.
About so.
What does your body need the most? We need water.
Water.
So let's go back to bare basics. We don't need any sweeteners, any juice, no. And I know a lot of the times as well, people don't like to drink water because water tastes bad. It tastes like nothing. And you know what you can do a lot of the times is you could spice up the water by adding lemon. You could add cucumber, but just ensure that you get your daily amount of water. I actually purchased a bottle from Massey, and it essentially helps me to keep track of the amount of water that I would be able to drink in like a day. My
Yeah.
bottle is actually 24 milliliters. And
2,400
yeah.
milliliters, yeah.
So I think you would have told me before actually that I could drink one of this and like a little bit more, like probably
Yeah.
300 more
yeah.
for me to be able to get to like my goal.
Yeah.
So like throughout the day, I would have my water and I'll be drinking it throughout the day. I drink like at least 2 bottles, like
Yeah.
2 full bottles. Like there are some days where I drink like 1.5, one, but like I try my best to get like the daily amount of water in, because I do agree with you, Mikhail.
Yeah.
Like you need to drink that water. You need to flush out your system. It helps you with like so much things. I think it also helps like you with maybe constipation, I think.
Yeah, it
Like
does help with bowel movement a
yes,
lot.
it does. Yes, definitely. So you have to be able to take the things that your body actually needs to get to the level where it needs to be.
Yeah. So just for some motivation with drinking water, I realized personally when I drink more water, my skin feels and looks a bit more clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. That is
Yeah.
true. And I think like I kind of want to talk about like you drinking water.
Yeah.
I remember there was a moment in our relationship when we started our journey together, and I purchased my bottle because I know for myself that if I don't have the bottle in front of me, I'm not drinking water. You have to be able to know yourself. And I know that if I don't have the bottle, water will not be drunk
Yeah.
on that day. So I invested in this bottle because I felt like this will help me keep track. And now you drink your bottled water. I'll say a stush, right?
But nice,
Yeah, nice.
Price smart bottles.
Price smart membership selection water. Okay, cool, no problem. I will drink the water from the pipe, but okay, cool, right? I remember that you had it in the small 500 milliliter amount, and you wouldn't drink as much water throughout the day.
Yeah.
I think like you got very dehydrated very, very quickly. And I told you, like, hey, let's drink more water. Let's invest in you drinking more water so that you'll be able to see the weight loss goals that you would be able to see, like how I did. And that's how I think I was able to actually lose that like 10 pounds. I think five of those pounds was probably water weight. And now, do you want to share like a bit about how much weight you lost when it is you started implementing like the consistent drinking of water?
Yeah, so I have not lost as much weight as Sherna. Sherna lost 10
And that's
pounds.
okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I lost 4 pounds.
And that's amazing.
That's
Very
actually
proud
it.
of you,
Yeah, it is. Now, the reason why there's like a big difference there, apart from, Sherna being a woman and I being a man, is also because of the water, the amount of water that I drank. Also because of rest too.
True.
But a lot of it also came from the amount of water that I drank. And,
Which was none. at
Which
the
was
time.
none actually at the time.
You were not drinking water. You were surviving on 500 milliliters. And I'm here like,
Russian,
baby,
two-
what are you
two
doing?
bottles now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And something else I also want to put out. I did say that it should be 2.7 liters for a woman to drink, right?
Right.
For men also, it's 3.7. Now,
That's a lot.
Yeah, because we're big and we do sweat a lot more.
Yeah.
Now, those are averages, okay? Now, it also depends on your body, because you did say that there are some days where you don't always drink like the exact, or sometimes even like a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is an average. So aim to drink around that amount of water a day. Every day might be a little bit different because of what you're doing.
And every single day there's something new, something different. There are times where I don't like to drink warm water. Unfortunately, I don't like room temperature water. So like I would take my water and I put it in the freezer just to get chilled for like a bit. And if it is that I don't have the water chilled before, I will forget to drink the water. So like set timers to remind yourself, go and get your water from the fridge, go get your water from the freezer. You know what I mean? Know who you are, know what you need. If it is you know that you need a timer to drink water, set a timer to drink water.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, guys, you have to take care of yourself. We do not want our body to go into like survival mode and say, okay, we need to rest. We need this, because there was a moment where I think I was not drinking water and I had to get fluids, which was very, very bad, right? So just make sure that you have your water intake up to speed, and I think that you'll have a beautiful weight loss journey, because that is the beginning of like really drinking water is the beginning of something beautiful.
Yeah.
And now I want to get into meal prep. Now the power of meal prep is so important. So me personally, I make my breakfast in advance. So again, I spoke about this before. I would have my overnight oats. Of course, in order to make the overnight oats, I'll have to prepare it the night before. And I have my overnight oats and I have my meals for lunch in the fridge already made. Because me personally, it's much easier to grab and go as opposed to now waking up trying to figure out what do I want to make again. I think it eliminates the amount of time it takes you to think about what do I want to eat today.
Yeah.
Because it's already in the fridge, it's already prepared. And I think like beyond that, meal prepping also helps you to save money. For those people who work 9 to 5, 8 to 4, and you have to go to work, travel to work, commute to work and stuff like that, especially if you work in Port of Spain.
Yeah.
In Port of Spain, there are a multitude of rituals. There's a Starbucks that they recently built. You know, like everything that you could possibly want to have for breakfast. They're right here. The pie is right there. Like all of these things right there with shops.
Right?
It's right there. And if it is that you're telling yourself, okay, well, I didn't have breakfast today, let me just get something quick on the road.
Yeah.
You know, like if you get something quick on the road every single day, you will essentially gain more weight. I remember when I was traveling to work in Port of Spain, and Rituals was actually on Henry Street, and they had what I wanted. They had like chai tea, they had donuts, they had...
Oh, you drink chai tea?
Yes, I drank. No, vanilla.
Gosh, nah.
So like I used to have that, and I used to have their chicken Jamaican patties, and y'all, when I tell you, that Jamaican patty had a chokehold on me.
Can't relate.
And and like I could not stop eating it. I was like, it's right there, it's convenient, it's just $20. You don't have $20? No, I don't have $20. Do you know why? Because that $20 is going to turn into $40 tomorrow. And then after $60. And the thing is, I actually used to buy it in sets of 2, so that's $40 on one day.
$200 a week, you know?
Yeah. And it was okay because I didn't have breakfast, so let me just get it one time. And while I'm there, I might as well get a donut, which was selling at that time 3 mini donuts. So I think it was less than $10. I was like, I'm already there, I might as well just get 3 mini donuts. It's amazing. I love donuts anyway. And these things, like if it is that you meal prepped, you had your meals in the fridge to grab and go, yes, this prevents you from spending money that you don't have to spend. Because again, I'm always going to say that you don't need $1 million to lose weight. You don't need $1,000 weight loss plan. You don't need to go to the fanciest gym. You literally just need a pair of exercising shoes and probably a phone to play music out loud. Because when we exercise at times, we play music out loud. We don't have to get, the AirPods, the headset, and all of those things to be able to exercise. And meal prepping helps you save so much money. Yeah. And I think that in an economy or in a world where things are not free, it makes more sense to save a bit. Probably go to the grocery and buy your ingredients to make your breakfast, and then make it at home and then take it to work. Make it at home so that you don't have to think about what do I have to eat tomorrow.
Yeah.
So for me, I know that I pushed meal prepping on you. Like making
big man.
breakfast in the morning. I literally said, please, 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 because I'm telling you all, making breakfast in the morning for the morning, I think you're wasting time. I think like it's more efficient and effective to grab and go.
Also, meal prepping helps you to portion out your food. Huh?
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah. I eat a lot, but too much of one thing is good for nothing. Once I placed everything back into something that's smaller to meal prepping the night before, and then wake up in the morning and just grab and go, it helped me section of, okay, what it is do I really need?
And how much of that you're going to eat, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, for you personally, a lot of your weight gain came from you overeating to an extent?
I do find so, yes.
Yeah.
I do find so.
Because I think me too as well, because I remember, like before, I did not have any form of self-control. Like to me, I have an extra large box of food, please. Like I will have the biggest of everything. Like if it is that you're snacking, you're taking your snacks. If it is you want to go get your DQs, ice cream and stuff like that. If it's helpful to you, take a small, take a medium, maybe don't go for a large.
Yeah.
Because like it's those like little things. Like you may say, it's just a large. But if you take a large every day, you become extra large.
Yeah.
And you don't want that to happen.
The risk way.
Yeah, so you really have to be able to take care of yourself, and you have to be able to say, okay, I know that I love this thing, but I need to meal prep. I love to eat, but I need to section out my food so that I'll be able to see the results, because it goes back to that same definition that we gave earlier: eat less and exercise more. It goes back to that same thing where we essentially say that you have to monitor what it is eating and how it is eating. You have to section out your food. At one of the episodes that I did, the reels, I would have made baked potatoes.
Yeah.
If it is I had eaten that whole tray of baked potatoes in one day, I would have been a big back. The exercising would not help because it would make no sense. So you really and truly have to be able to portion control, eat in a calorie deficit. At least for me, that's working. That is what is working, before you are actually able to see the results.
Yeah.
Yes, I love to eat food. Food is life, but don't let food take your life. Because if it is that you keep overeating, you're going to get bigger. If you get bigger, you know what's going to happen. You're going to feel more depressed. You're going to feel slowed down. Like I remember telling you that because I got bigger, I was feeling so heavy. I was feeling big, and it was not the most encouraging thing. From going from 175 to 237 was a big jump. That's a lot of weight. I put back on all the weight that I lost. And my legs started to hit me when I was walking. My back, I was like, okay, what is happening right now? So like you need to be able to cut yourself in the tracks. Like nip it in the bud, as my mommy usually says. Because if it is that you don't make those changes, like those tiny changes, and say, it's just a little extra extra turns into a extra.
Yeah.
And we don't want that. So meal prep, save the money while you can, because every time you leave your house, there's an opportunity to buy something. Personally, I would say give yourself some time to breathe.
Yeah.
Don't be inhaling and exhaling food, okay? Like, I really would love everybody to understand that in order to be able to see the change results, you really and truly need to do something different.
I want to add something to this, and that is we eat to live. We don't live to eat. Remember that the food that you eat, what you drink, is mainly sustenance.
True.
You don't have that all the time for joy. It's okay for a little bit here and there for certain events, just like how it is after graduation.
Yes.
Because I finally said I'll have a big burger at that time.
Yeah.
But now, like, just remember that don't be too strict on yourself.
True. And be practical.
Be practical. And just remember that what might work for us may not work for you.
Very
too.
true. Because a calorie deficit might work for me, but like I know some people who operate better. I forgot the name of this diet where they only eat once a day. Like they only eat like within like a 1 hour period, and then they don't eat anything else. I know that there are people who exist on different forms of diets.
Yeah.
Right? Some people may lose weight by eating flour. Some people may lose weight by taking out flour. You know, like me personally, I would just say that what really and truly works for us may not work for you. Because my body, at the end of the day, I'm the only person who has that body, who has my body.
Yeah.
And as we kind of like go to the last section of this entire conversation, because this was a great conversation. Like, I love having these like types of conversations with you where we are able to like say the true thing, which is
Make you blush.
we need to be able to take care of ourselves. And so some of the key takeaways that I have from this conversation essentially is you need to listen to your body. Because again, we don't want our body to take a pause for us. We need to be able to go, okay, what does my body need right now? It needs this kind of nutrient. It needs this. Let me take that. You know, it's not about being impractical. It's not about, I want to lose the weight fast. I want to lose the weight quick. I want to lose the weight now. It's, I want to lose the weight, but I need to lose it at a regular pace. Because just as fast as you lose the weight, it's just as quick that it will come back on.
Consistency, babe.
Yeah, and it's always about consistency and never perfection. You're not going to be perfect at losing weight in the beginning. That is okay. We are not perfect. That is okay. But what is amazing is that we are consistent in everything that we are actually doing.
I love that last thing you put down.
Yeah.
I love that. I love you.
So as we kind of like wrap up this conversation, we just want to thank you all so much for listening to this podcast. It is truly, truly our baby project. And we are always so grateful to have these kinds of conversations with you all, to listen to our journey and what we do. And we are truly grateful that, again, you take time out of your schedule to listen to what we are doing in our personal life. So as we wrap up, don't forget to check out the show notes for all links to our social media accounts. We post on YouTube, TikTok, and on Instagram, the full reels. And don't forget to check out the Google form that is linked in the show notes, where if it is that you have a new topic that you would like to have us discuss, how we navigate certain things, you can add your topic to that Google document, and we'll definitely be able to make an episode on that. Don't forget to check out Auntie Crystal's YouTube channel at Crystal Best Fitness. You can again find it all in the show notes. And we are very grateful to have you all listening to our podcast. We will see you all again soon.
Until next time, peace out.
Bye.